Maybe this will last forever. Who knows? One moment, ladies and gentlemen.
It wouldn't if you get out of here.
I've only got one more story left, Mr. Shabunia. Would you like me to tell it, or would you like me to stay here?
Tell it.
But... Ladies and gentlemen, the last of our creepy stories is something very simply called lightning. I actually quite like this one, but I never quite see it read often. Have you, Mr. Shabunia? No? That's what I thought. We had just moved into a little ranch house in the suburbs. Storybook neighborhood, quiet, friendly neighbors, picket fences, the whole 9 yards. Suffice it to say, it was supposed to be a new start for me, a recently single dad, and my 3-year-old son. A time to move on from the previous year's drama and stress. I viewed the thunderstorm as a metaphor for a fresh start, one last show of theatrics before the dirt and grime of the past would be washed away. My son loved it anyway, even with the power out. It was the first big storm he'd ever seen. Flashes of lightning flooded the bare rooms of our house, imparting unpacked boxes with the long creeping shadows, and he jumped and squealed as the thunder boomed. It was well past his bedtime before he'd finally settled down enough to go to sleep. The next morning, I found him awake, in bed, and smiling. I watched the lightning at my window, he proudly announced. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, I believe I'm going to try to help Mr. Shabunia in his antics. Give us a moment. Now, I believe I left off here. A few mornings later, he told me the same thing. You're silly, I said. It didn't storm last night, you were only dreaming. Oh. He seemed somewhat disheartened. I ruffled his hair and told him not to worry. There would soon be another storm. Then, it became a pattern. He would tell me how he would watch the lightning outside of his window at least twice a week, despite there being no storms. Recurring dreams of that first memorable thunderstorm, I figured. It's easy to hate myself in hindsight. Everybody assures me there's nothing that I could have done, no way I could have known. But I'm supposed to be the guardian of my child, and these are at least useless words of comfort. I constantly relived that morning, making my coffee, pouring milk over my cereal, and picking up the newspaper to read about the pedophile local authorities just arrested. It was front-page stuff. Apparently, this guy was select a young target, usually a boy, stake out their house for a while, take flash photos of them through their window while they slept. Sometimes he did more. My stomach sank as the connection was made. At this time, it was merely something of a child's imagination. In retrospect, it is the scariest thing I've ever heard. About a week before the predator was caught, my son came up to me in his pajamas. Guess what? He asked. What? No more lightning at my window. I played along. Oh, that's nice. It finally died down, huh? No. Now it's in my closet. I've yet to see the photos police have collected. But I fear. Oh yes. I fear. And that was Lightning, written by Alapanamo. You only have 37 pictures. Now, shall I help you? Where are we currently? Currently in the fireplace room. Especially the lion mask. You'll find the herbal medicine beside it. Then, take some steps to Miko's left and grab some Type 14 film. Ah. Then enter the bookshelf area where you found the Angry Man to find some more of it. Then go upstairs. A ghost will pass below you underneath the photo staircase. Quickly take a shot of him. Now, Hallway Man. We've already done this, haven't we? Now, examine the screens where the man at the screen sat. There will be a cutscene where a female ghost appears in front of her. That seems to have not happened, hasn't it? It's as though the way that you've been playing may have stopped this from happening. Perhaps if you stood far away from it and then took a picture. Further. Further. Ah, now there's nothing. Well, ladies and gentlemen, my name has been Soen. Perhaps when the next time we play, we might stare Mr. Shabunia a little bit more. Perhaps Five Nights at Freddy's. Perhaps something a little more sinister, like Slender, the 8 Pages. Perhaps that one would be correct. But for now, we leave him with Fatal Frame. And I leave you, Fatal Frame. Oh, by the way, that creature that I spoke of, the first one. If you want to look it up, if you remember the first video in this series, you can always look up... what shall we call it? I've known this for years and now I forget. One more time? No, it's not the rake. I would make a comment about the rake. That is horrible. A tick ballon. That you can take to the bank. Of course, I could mention the scariest thing about this life right now, couldn't I? Student loan. Right, Mr. Shabunia? He wouldn't know, he's all paid up. Oh, that's just going to end with more beatings, ladies and gentlemen. Good night.